Hey everyone, and welcome back to Thesaurus Thrive. Have you ever wondered how to really truly talk about your day in English without sounding like you're reading from a textbook? You know, the little things like, I wake up, I eat breakfast, I go to work.
Absolutely, Lily. It sounds so simple, right? But then you try to explain it to someone and suddenly you're searching for the right words for what I do after I brush my teeth or how I get ready for bed. It can be surprisingly tricky to make it sound natural.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're tackling today. We're going to dive deep into your daily routine, from the moment your alarm clock rings until your head hits the pillow. Our goal is to give you the vocabulary, phrases, and confidence to describe your day naturally, fluently, and without hesitation.
We'll cover morning routines, what happens in the afternoon, and how to talk about your evenings. Plus, we'll give you some simple sentences to practice speaking aloud, a mini conversation, and some fantastic tips to keep your English improving every single day. So, let's get started and make your English sound more like a native speaker's.
All right, let's kick things off with the morning. For many of us, the morning sets the tone for the entire day, right? So, how do we even begin to describe it? The first thing, of course, is waking up.
Right. We use wake up to mean when you stop sleeping. For example, I usually wake up at 7 a.m. Or, my cat wakes me up every morning by walking on my face. True story, by the way.
I can relate to that. Now, wake up is different from get up, isn't it? Get up means you physically leave your bed.
Exactly. So you might wake up at 6:30, but then you hit the snooze button and don't get up until 7. We often say, I get up and then I make my bed. Or, I get up and the first thing I do is open the curtains.
That's a great distinction to remember for our learners. So, after you get up, what's next for many people? Often, it's personal hygiene. Things like brush your teeth and wash your face.
Yep, I brush my teeth, very common. We don't usually say clean my teeth in daily conversation. I wash my face. You might also take a shower or have a shower. Both are perfectly natural ways to say it.
And then, of course, get dressed. This means putting on your clothes. You can say, I get dressed quickly, or I take my time getting dressed. It depends on if you're a morning person or not, I guess.
Oh, definitely not a morning person here. After getting dressed, it's often breakfast time. You can make breakfast or have breakfast or eat breakfast. All are good. I make breakfast for my family or I have a quick breakfast before work.
And what do people usually drink with breakfast? Coffee, tea, juice? You drink coffee or have a cup of tea. Notice how we often use have for meals and drinks. I have breakfast, I have a coffee, I have lunch.
That's a really good point about have, Lily. It's so versatile. After breakfast, some people might read the news or check their emails. These are common morning activities before heading out the door.
Right, and then for many, it's time to commute to work or go to school. Commute means to travel regularly between home and work or school. So you can say, I commute by bus or I have a long commute every day.
Or if you work from home, you might say, my commute is just from my bedroom to my office. Lucky you, Lily. Once you're at work or school, you start work or start classes. Simple and clear.
Okay, so let's put some of these together. Let's say I want to describe a typical morning. I could say, I usually wake up at 7 a.m., get up around 7:15, brush my teeth, and wash my face. Then I get dressed and have a quick breakfast, usually coffee and toast. After that, I check my emails and commute to work by train.
That's a perfect example, Lily. It flows really well. And notice how Lily used usually to show it's a regular habit. Adverbs of frequency like usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never are super useful when talking about routines. I often drink tea in the morning. I sometimes skip breakfast.
Excellent point, Ava. These adverbs make your description much more natural and precise. So that's the morning routine. Let's move into the afternoon. What typically happens after lunch?
Well, for most people, the afternoon means continuing with work or studies. You might attend meetings, work on projects, or study for exams. We also have lunch, of course. I have lunch at 1 p.m. I usually eat a sandwich for lunch.
Right, have lunch. And you can also say take a lunch break or go for lunch. So many ways to say the same thing, which is great for variety in your English. You're not stuck with just one phrase.
Exactly. In the afternoon, some people might run errands. This means doing small tasks like grocery shopping, going to the post office, or picking up dry cleaning. I need to run some errands after work today.
That's a very common and useful phrase, run errands. And for those with children, the afternoon often involves picking up the kids from school or taking them to after-school activities. Like, I pick up my daughter at 3 p.m.
Yes, pick up is key here, or you might say, I take my son to soccer practice. You can also do some exercise or go to the gym in the afternoon. I try to go to the gym 3 times a week in the afternoon.
Good one. Or go for a walk, go for a run, do yoga. Many ways to describe physical activity. And after all that, it's often time to relax or unwind. This means to calm down after working hard.
Unwind is a fantastic word. I like to unwind by listening to music, or I usually unwind with a good book. It's a bit more advanced than just relax, but still very common and natural.
Right, so an afternoon example could be, after lunch, I usually work on my computer until about 4 p.m. Then I often go for a short walk to clear my head. Sometimes I'll run a quick errand before heading home to unwind.
Again, great use of adverbs like usually, often, and sometimes. It paints a very clear picture. Now, let's talk about the evening. This is usually when we wind down and prepare for the next day.
Definitely. First up, dinner. Similar to breakfast and lunch, you can make dinner, have dinner, or eat dinner. I usually make dinner around 6 p.m., or we have dinner as a family every night.
And after dinner, someone usually has to do the dishes or load the dishwasher. Not my favorite part of the day, I have to admit. My partner and I take turns doing the dishes.
I hear you. After dinner and cleaning up, many people spend time with family or spend time with friends. We often spend the evening playing board games, or I spend time chatting with my friends online.
You can also read a book, watch TV, or listen to music. These are classic evening activities. I like to read before bed. We usually watch a movie on Friday nights.
Or if you're like me, you might prepare for the next day. This could mean packing your lunch, laying out your clothes, or checking your schedule. It helps to reduce morning stress, you know?
Oh, absolutely. A little preparation goes a long way. And then, finally, it's time to go to bed or fall asleep. Go to bed is the action of getting into bed, and fall asleep is when you actually start sleeping.
Right. I usually go to bed around 10:30 p.m., but I don't fall asleep until 11. See the difference? So, an evening routine might sound like this. In the evening, I make dinner and then my husband does the dishes. We usually watch a show together or read. Before bed, I prepare my clothes for the next day, and then I go to bed around 10 p.m. and try to fall asleep quickly.
Perfect. And notice how Lily naturally connects these actions. She doesn't just list them, she tells a small story about her evening. That's the goal, to tell your story, your daily story, in English.
All right, everyone, you've heard a lot of useful vocabulary and phrases. Now it's your turn to practice. The best way to improve your spoken English is by speaking, even if it's just to yourself. We're going to give you some simple sentences and we want you to repeat them aloud. Don't be shy, say them with us.
Ready? Here's the first one. I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. Your turn.
Great. Let's try another. I brush my teeth and wash my face. Repeat after me.
Fantastic. Next one. I have breakfast with my family. Go ahead, say it.
You're doing great. Here's a longer one. In the afternoon, I work and then go for a walk. Try that.
Excellent. And finally, I watch TV in the evening and go to bed early. One more time.
How did that feel? Even just saying a few sentences aloud makes a huge difference. Try to do this every day with new phrases you learn. It really builds that muscle memory for speaking.
Now, to make this even more practical, Lily and I are going to have a mini conversation about our daily routines. Listen for the phrases we just learned and how we use them naturally.
So, Ava, tell me a little bit about your typical weekday morning. How does it usually start for you?
Well, I'm an early bird, surprisingly. I usually wake up around 5:30 a.m., even before my alarm sometimes. I don't get up immediately, though. I usually spend about 15 minutes just lying in bed, maybe scrolling on my phone before I finally get up.
Wow, 5:30. That's really early. Do you make your bed right away?
Oh no, definitely not right away. After I get up, the first thing I do is head to the kitchen to make myself a cup of tea. Then I usually sit and enjoy my tea while I check my emails and plan my day. After that, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and get dressed. It's a pretty relaxed start.
That sounds lovely, a very calm start to the day. What about breakfast? Do you usually eat something substantial?
Yes, I usually have a simple breakfast, maybe some yogurt and fruit around 6:30, and then I commute to the office. My commute isn't too long, thankfully, just about 20 minutes by car, and then I start work around 7:30.
That's a very productive morning. Mine is a bit later. I usually wake up around 7, hit the snooze button once or twice, and then finally get up around 7:30. I don't make my bed, I just throw the covers back. Then I head straight to the bathroom to brush my teeth and wash my face. I'm usually in a bit of a rush.
I can picture it. So no leisurely tea time for you?
No, not really. I quickly get dressed, usually in whatever is easiest to grab. For breakfast, I usually just have a piece of fruit and a quick coffee while standing in the kitchen. Then I check my calendar for the day and usually leave for the studio around 8:30 or 9. My commute is usually by metro, which takes about 40 minutes.
It's interesting how different our mornings are, even with the same basic activities. What about your afternoons? Do you have a typical lunch routine?
Oh, my afternoons are usually filled with recording podcasts and working on scripts, just like this one. I usually have lunch around 1 p.m., and I often bring something from home, so it's a quick lunch at my desk. Sometimes I'll take a short walk if the weather is nice, just to get some fresh air and clear my head before jumping back into things. What about you?
Mine are pretty similar. I have lunch around noon, usually with my colleagues. We often grab something from a nearby cafe. The afternoon is mostly for meetings and working on various projects. Sometimes I have to run a few errands after work, like picking up groceries, but I try to keep my afternoons focused on work so I can relax in the evening.
That makes sense. It sounds like you're pretty disciplined with your work schedule. And your evenings, how do they usually unfold?
After work, I usually head home, which is around 5 p.m. The first thing I do is change into comfy clothes. Then, I might do a quick workout, maybe some yoga or a short run, just to unwind from the day. My partner and I usually make dinner together around 7. After dinner, we'll do the dishes, we take turns, thankfully, and then we like to watch a TV show or read a book. I try to go to bed by 10 p.m., but sometimes I fall asleep later if I'm really into a book or a show.
That sounds like a really nice routine, very balanced. My evenings are a bit more flexible. After I finish work and commute home, which can be around 6 or 7 p.m., I usually start cooking dinner. I love to cook, so I often spend a bit more time in the kitchen.
Oh, that's wonderful! I'm not much of a cook myself, so that's impressive.
Thanks. After dinner, I usually clean up the kitchen. Then I like to relax. Sometimes I'll read, sometimes I'll listen to a podcast or watch a documentary. I don't usually watch a lot of TV. Before bed, I always try to prepare everything for the next day. My clothes, my bag, sometimes even a quick meal prep. This really helps me feel less stressed in the morning. I usually go to bed around 10:30 or 11 p.m. and try to fall asleep quickly, but sometimes my mind is still buzzing.
See, that was a natural conversation, and we used so many of the phrases we talked about today. You can do this too. Just describing your own day to yourself or to a friend is incredible practice.
Exactly. And speaking of practice, let's share a few more tips to help you keep improving your English fluency, especially when talking about your daily life.
My first tip is to keep a simple English diary, just a few sentences each day about what you did. For example, this morning I woke up early, then I made coffee and checked my emails. It helps you think in English and reinforces the vocabulary.
That's a fantastic idea, Ava. My second tip is to practice narrating your day to yourself in English. As you're doing something, describe it. Now I'm making breakfast, I'm washing the dishes, I'm walking to the bus stop. It might feel a little silly at first, but it makes English feel more natural and automatic.
I love that one. It's like having your own personal English commentator. And my third tip, which is super important, is to connect new vocabulary to your actual routine. Instead of just memorizing wake up, think about when you wake up, what you do right after. Make it personal, make it real for your life.
Yes, personalize it. That's the key to making it stick. Don't just learn words, learn how to use them to talk about your life. It makes the language much more relevant and engaging for you.
All right, everyone, that wraps up our deep dive into daily routines in English. We hope you feel much more confident describing your day from morning to night.
We covered so many common phrases and gave you plenty of opportunities to practice. Remember, consistency is key. Keep practicing these phrases, try keeping that English diary, and narrate your day to yourself.
If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please do us a huge favor. Like this podcast, share it with your friends who are learning English, and subscribe to Thesaurus Thrive for more natural and engaging English lessons.
Absolutely. Your support helps us create more content just like this. And we'd love to hear from you. What's one part of your daily routine you can now confidently describe in English? Let us know in the comments or wherever you're listening.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, every little bit of practice makes a big difference. You've got this. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us on Thesaurus Thrive. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.